What's up? Good evening, everyone. I'm so excited to be here tonight. I'm so excited because it's Monday night. My name is Donna V. This is Tracy, Locke, and Mazzella, and we are your open-minded mystics. Welcome, ladies. How are you? You look beautiful.
Woo! I'm feeling so excited. Ungala Grace is here. I am like off the chain excited to find out about your painting. It is so beautiful, and I can't wait to get my own. I'm dying to find out what she's going to tell us about it.
I am so excited to hear all the news. I have my own impressions, so I've kind of been thinking about what I think things mean, and I'm so interested to see how, because I do think that part of a painting is what you get from it, right? Because but so much of it is what I get from it, and I really do feel like that painting is a great representation of you, Donna. But I'm interested to see what she got from it, and I can't wait to hear her story of your soul painting. I'm really excited, and I'm happy to be here tonight.
I am so excited, and she doesn't know. Does she know? The question is, she didn't know a lot about you before it, right? Good.
No, she did not know a lot about me. I mean, we did speak. We had to, speak and chat, and getting into all of that, we could talk about that when she comes out, because I don't want to mess it up, because I'm really excited, Tracy. As you mentioned backstage, you were not here when she was here. I think you were working a convention.
Yes.
And I'm so excited for you to be here, because you asked the most amazing questions. And I know you're going to ask questions that Kim and I, with our jaws dropped, probably didn't ask. I know that, knowing Ungala, that she's got amazing stories, and I can't wait to see what she's going to share tonight. And my voice is definitely recouped from Saturday. Thank you, Shari, for asking.
You're wearing of the green. Congratulations, by the way, on a totally off topic.
Thank you. This is actually my Harry Potter shirt.
What does it say?
This says, "Happiness can be found even in the darkest of times if one only remembers to turn on the light." It's Albus Dumbledore. And I thought this would be perfect for tonight's show. And it's green. So yeah, that's true. What's up, Kathy? How are you? Listen, I am so excited, ladies. I cannot wait to show you the painting again, for those of you that didn't see the reveal, but also because to have an artist describe what this painting is about, and have a painting, it's not like she painted me like on the outside, she painted my soul, which is really kind of cool, because as a person who's really shy about going on the beach in a bathing suit for many years, to let somebody like go in and just paint my soul is like pretty amazing and vulnerable. But I felt so comfortable with Ungala. And like I said, you said she didn't know a lot about you. Well, for those of you who are going to want to book a soul painting with Ungala after this, she can really tell you what goes into it, because I want her to be able to explain the experience. But I mean, she is just amazing. She's amazing.
It's amazing.
She's amazing.
Hey, I just want to mention something from my life coach perspective about the bathing suit on the beach. And I have to say this, when I coach people who don't want to go on the beach in the bathing suit, you're wasting your life, right? Like, the beach is such a great place and to go there and to be thinking about what you look like when you're going to miss your life. So what I tell people to do is put your bathing suit on, look down, check, make sure all the parts are where they should be. And then when you go on the beach, think thoughts about everybody that your eyes land, and say, "I salute you. I hope you feel great in that bathing suit. I give you power. I ask that you feel hot and sexy and all those things that you want to feel, and just have a great day." And offer those blessings to everybody who's in a bathing suit, and you will find that you stop, worrying so much about it, because everybody's more concerned with themselves anyway.
Yeah.
I just had to say that.
Can you hear me now? I think it just came from childhood shyness. It really did.
Yeah.
It came from, a place that really helped me to be a different mom. It came from a place where I empowered my girls from a young age, where I think that very often, culturally speaking, and I think for my age group, you either have people that I was friends with this young woman. Her name is Andrea Duarte, and she was absolutely gorgeous, Brazilian. Like, her grandparents gave her a thong bikini for her birthday. And I remember that, and I was like, whoa. And then I realized that I've never been on the beach with all four of my grandparents, any of them, or my father. Like, it just was not a vacation we went on.
Yeah.
So for someone who was really sheltered, and then to go, I think it was a combination of not being empowered as a female, and also just, it wasn't in my wheelhouse. It wasn't like something we did. Like, there's so many people I know that spent their entire summers or childhoods at a beach. And it didn't have to be that you had a lot of money. It was just not something that we did.
Right. So that makes sense.
I didn't mean to hijack the show.
No. It's Open-Minded Mystics. We're all about empowering people and explaining. And I think it's really important because guess what? I didn't realize that, Kim, until like probably recently, like the past couple of years. And I know like it stopped me from going, but honestly, I don't know. I'm not a big beach person. I didn't feel like I missed that much. If I was longing to be by the water, but I appreciate what you're saying. And I send love and gifts to everybody, which brings me to say, that's a perfect segue into one of our sponsors, which is actually Kim. Wouldn't that be you?
Yes, it would. I would love
so
to.
Why don't you tell everybody how amazing you are and what it is that you have launched? And we want to hear some updates on how you're doing with your Supercharge Your Relationship by Mastering Your Mindset.
So I have been coaching for a long time, but in the last 3 years, I've really redesigned my whole coaching program, and I've really focused on two things. But I have two programs called Supercharge Your Life by Mastering Your Mindset, another program called Supercharge Your Relationship by Mastering Your Mindset. But I've created an introductory program for anybody who's interested. And this introductory program, there's nothing introductory about it. It is enough. I'm telling you, enough for you to, if you just do this, you will be amazed at what happens in your life. So it's called the Rapid Relationship Repair and then Toolkit, but it's at Rapid Relationship Repair. I am so happy that I've created this program because I feel like it's the one thing that could really make a difference if you are struggling in your relationship and you want to keep it and you want to make it better. So it's 28-day program. You can find it at rapidrelationshiprepair.com. You can also find it under my name at www.kimmazzella.com, and it's $27. $27 for 28 days worth of work. You get workbooks. You'll learn all about your power centers, all about how your power centers are doing in your relationship. You'll figure out what what you've got going on, the pros of your power centers, where you really have work to do in your power centers. And it is so chock full of tools that if you come out of it after 28 days and you tell me that your relationship hasn't been improved, I will give you a full refund. That's how confident I am that this program works. So I really hope you check me out there. It's awesome.
Definitely check that out because that is like just a teens over $1 a day to fix your relationship. I mean, honestly, I spend more than that on my Starbucks, and that has done really not much for my relationship.
Well, it may have if it makes you happy to go to Starbucks, because happiness is the most important thing. So it may not be all that bad, but yes. So I'm really, really proud of this program. When I was done with it and I really completed it, it was the first time I was like, wow, this is kick ass, excuse my language, but it really is. I give so much. And it's funny because one of my really good friends is taking it right now, and she's like, I can't believe how much stuff you put in this program. It's just never ending. And there's a second part of it called the Relationship Repair Toolkit Video Companion. So if you want to add on for $37, it's just $37. I created 28 videos where every morning you watch a video, and the video is a companion for the work that you're going to be doing. I've made sure that the video is no longer than 4 minutes, but it's super inspiring, and it's a really great way to start your day. So you watch the video, and I'll tell you what to do, and I'll tell you why you're doing it, and then I give you so much motivation to stay on the program. It's really, really great. I'm really excited about it.
That is amazing, Kim. That's amazing. I'm so excited for you.
Thank you.
Let's check out another one of our sponsors. Let me see what's going on over here. Does anybody recognize this beauty queen right here?
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, Open-Minded Mystics once again presents Aunt Sheila Says. So you're going to take Kim's workshops, her work. You're going to do it. You're going to be doing the work, and you're going to be like, wow, this is awesome. I'm getting so much out of this, but I'm doing a lot of work, which is good because you need to work on yourself. So when you need a little lightheartedness, you're going to go over to Aunt Sheila Says, and she's going to give you information, recommendations, common sense information on life, but it's going to have like a little humorous twist. So it'll make you laugh. It'll make you, hopefully it'll inspire you a little, but you'll be motivated to keep your life moving forward. So they work in tandem together, which is fantastic. So you've got to check it out. Aunt Sheila Says, and it's on all social medias as Aunt Sheila Says.
Awesome. Awesome. And so fun, and so much fun, and so funny, and so much information.
There you go.
I love it.
Get it out there, kids.
We got to meet Christine Cool last week. So,
She's
like, Aunt
great.
Sheila, I have to tell you, you guys should do a show together one day.
Oh my God, that would be hilarious.
That'd be
She
hilarious.
is awesome. She's awesome. I actually spoke to her. She is awesome. Really
She is.
has
She's
a wealth of
super
information.
knowledgeable, right?
Yeah, and generous and so thoughtful and generous and just so into it and knows so much. She's really great.
That's great.
She is so super sweet.
That's awesome.
All right, you guys, I'm going to have to toot my own horn a little bit right now and just say, here we go. Ready? Sunday through Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Another one of our Open-Minded Mystics supporters is Storytime with Donna V. That would be me. And I'm really excited about it because I have definitely said it's for the mini mystics. This is what you want to do when you are doing Kim's program and you are using all of your oils that Aunt Sheila says and you need somewhere to bring the kids. Pop them right in front of YouTube because you can go over to a dedicated page now. It is Storytime with Donna V. And there is an hour's worth of programming per day, 6 days a week. Unless otherwise, like if there's a family emergency, we all live lives, right, ladies and gentlemen? Mm-hmm. But I will tell you this. One of the things I love about doing the show is that I get so many adults that are there because I swear it's for the inner child in you too. So we wish love and light. We start all the practices that we love to promote now on Open-Minded Mystics at a young age in little bite-sized pieces so that your little mystics can understand it and grow up. And, you know, like my kids used to look at me when I would talk to them about like manifesting and they would be like, at first they were like, what is my mom talking about? And then when they would start to get the things that they really wanted to manifest, they were like, this stuff really works. And I think it would be really nice if we could just start a whole entire generation of people sending out love and light, elevating the vibration of the global population one day at a time from a young age. So that is Storytime with Donna V.
Awesome. And what I love, Donna, is you are so committed to the people that you're teaching. It's so much fun. You come with so much energy, and 6 times a week you bring that energy. I mean, I don't know. I feel tired just watching you sometimes. It's so much energy.
Trust me, I understand that feeling. It's crazy.
It is a great way to start your morning. It's so much fun.
Yeah.
Hey, Christine Cool's in the house, ladies. We're just talking about you. Your ears must be ringing.
What's going on, Eric? Christine, we love that you are now one of our mystic companions. You're on our show. You're definitely in with all. It's like we have a toolbox of so many different people that we can, you know, call on and pull from. And you are definitely one of our favorites. So thank you. Sherry, thank you so much. I painted that a long time ago. But speaking of paintings, ladies, and people that we're excited to have on, I am so excited. I know we as a group are so excited to invite this beautiful soul back on our show. She is an artist. I'm so happy you're here, Tracy, because you get to speak to her this time person to person. Please help us welcome Ungala Grace.
Yay!
So excited.
Oh, I'm so happy to be here again with you guys. I love hanging out with you ladies.
We love to hanging out with you.
We do. I'm so happy you're here.
So I'm going to try to get this painting showed up, but Tracy, go ahead. I know you want to talk to her.
Oh yeah, I have so many questions because I was not here the last time you were on, so I'm thrilled that you're back. Your work is unbelievable. I love it. I've seen so many of your different pieces. They're gorgeous. So I had questions for Donna, but I'm just going to ask you because you're the master here. How did you, first of all, and I know you may have answered some of these questions. So how did this come to you? So this doesn't come normally. I mean, it's like
it doesn't. It kind of just happened really organically. So and it happened when my daughter was 3 or 4 years old. I was actually getting a divorce, and my husband at the time said, "You know, I'm going to take her away from you." And I was starting to panic, and I didn't want that to happen. So a friend of mine had a canvas and she sat it up and she goes, paint it out. That's how she started. She goes, just paint out whatever you're feeling. And I'm thinking, wow, can I do that? And so I painted this amazing painting, and I'll have to bring it on another time. But it was of a tree with 2 heads, and it just came very organically. It was like an intuitive painting of what I was feeling. And I was really confused about what the painting meant. The strangest thing is when my daughter got home and I said to her, I said, look at this painting. I'm really confused. And she's like, oh, I know what it means. It just means, she said, Mom, see that blue? That's me up here. And see that bird that's flying back? She goes, it's just telling you, no matter where I go, I'm still going to come back to you. So she had a whole understanding of the painting. And I realized at that moment that I have something, I can do something. And then it just expanded. So not only can I paint out my own feelings, paint out my own ex-husbands, I've done all of that. I realized, I invited friends and I said, let me paint you. And in the beginning, when I first started doing soul paintings, it was really very basic. So they were just basic shapes, very basic colors. And now they're insane because the souls trust me. And they will say things to me like, oh, over on this left side, there's this invisible energy and I can see it in my mind's eye. And I'm like, how am I going to paint that? And they're like, oh, you'll figure it out. Don't just.
That's so cool.
So,
that's awesome.
Yeah. So it's expanded to the point where what used to be very simple now has become quite difficult. And a lot of times I'm constantly if there's pain, I feel it. Right? If there's pain, if there's, I have a lot of questions. I had a lot of questions for Donna. It gives me certain messages, but only she can answer those. So they're evolving. And I think to myself, what will they be like in 10 years? Will I have to do computer generation, 3D renderings? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know.
I think they'll get up and walk to your house. I think that's what's going to happen. You'll just, you'll send them out once you're done. Like you said, your children, bye, go.
And I told Donna, I said, even though the painting belongs to her, I created it. So I'm its mother. They are my children. So all the soul paintings that have traveled as far as Paris, France, I have them all over the world. I am the mother of all those children.
That's an amazing way to look at it. I love that. As an artist, I love that feeling. We all feel that way, that we're attached to our work and it means something to us as well as it does to someone else. So when you see, when you meet someone, how would you even get started?
It's really strange in that a lot of people, I would say 9 out of 10 people don't want me to paint them. They're afraid that I will see darkness. They believe in their heart that I will see nothing but browns, blacks, dark blues. They truly feel like they have darkness and they're afraid of me. So I would say a lot of people will immediately say, no, you're not painting me. And
I would think everyone would be like, paint me, paint me, paint me.
No, it's really, really hard. It's becoming more open, but imagine 25 years ago, it was really scary because now spirituality is becoming, more the norm. People are more interested. I even had a lady in Orlando whose husband bought her the soul painting for a gift. And I show up, I drive to Orlando. It's a 2-hour drive for me. And I get to her door and she opens the door and she goes, I know why you're here. And I really I'm not going to let you in.
You've got to be kidding.
No, I'm like, why? She goes, you're only going to see darkness. And I'm afraid of what you're going to see. And I said, look, I've just driven 2 hours. I said, let me come in, use your restroom. How about you brew us a pot of coffee? Let's sit down over coffee. I said, you're on an amazing, and they lived in a mansion. I said, I'm sure your backyard is fabulous. I said, let's go sit out there and have coffee and let's just talk. I said, I don't need to paint you if you don't want to. So we went out, we sat there. They have deers crossing across their lawn. I'm thinking this is absolutely amazing. And to come to find out, I knew immediately talking to her that there wasn't a single bit of dark paint in there. I don't even think the black paint came out of I think even her irises are gray. Everything was pale and pastel and absolutely gorgeous. It was so beautiful. And after about an hour talking to her, I said, let me just start. Let's just start this painting. Because I didn't want to drive back without painting her. And I think her painting is one of the most beautiful paintings I've ever painted. But she had this internal fear because she was unhappy.
One of the things that Course in Miracles says is that we're all afraid to look because we all think that if we go down, we're going to find darkness, but that's actually a trick of the ego. The ego mind wants us not to look because the ego mind is a part of us that thinks it will die if we look. And the truth is, what will die is the ego mind. So it's really a trick of the ego mind to keep us from looking within, because it tells us that we're deep down inside, we're terrible, we're awful, we're dirty, when it's not true at all. Who we really are is love, but the ego doesn't want us to look. So that's why so few of us look, because it's just so natural to not want to look, because we all think, I mean, this is a human condition that we kind of all think that we all have a terribleness with us in us, and really it's the fear without us that is the thing that's telling us we're all terrible. But I have a question. Have you ever painted anybody that did have a lot of darkness in them?
No. As a matter of fact, the soul isn't capable of being dark.
Yeah, I was
never dark. Yeah. The soul is always light energy. It's always beautiful. What the soul will do, so you can be what you consider a dark person. Let's say somebody murdered somebody, right? The soul is actually mourning the fact that you've done that, right? It's something that you've done, and what a soul does is it stores the emotion of what you've done. So you did it on your own free will. Something happened in your life that you felt the need to do it, or you did it. Let's say you were drunk and you did it. The soul does not understand that. The soul is still light. Now the soul will reveal in the painting that you need to correct whatever you've done. And if you don't correct it in this lifetime, you will come back and correct it in the next lifetime. But I have never seen a dark soul, ever, not ever. I'm not afraid of anybody's soul that I paint. I think in the darkest times, when somebody's either lost somebody in their family or a child or something like that, those paintings are yes, they're dark, but they're really extremely beautiful.
I'm sure. So can we get to Donna's?
Yes.
Wait, Tracy has a question, right?
I do have a question, and then I'll let you get to Donna's.
No, I can't. I want to see your question. I'm so excited because I can tell by your face.
When you do these paintings, I love the idea that, so when you first started doing the paintings, you were in the room with the person while you're doing the painting?
Yes, because I didn't realize that I could do it across the line. Like my farthest away person was in Paris, France. I never met this gentleman, and men's souls are very different than women, just like the men's brains are very different than women's.
Wow. In what way?
Oh yeah, it's really strange. Hi. Men think differently. Their souls are different. Women, for example, even though they're traumatized, they never show their innards in the fact. Men, when they're traumatized, their skin is ripped away. You see their muscle, you see their heart. It's kind of brutal, but that's how they show it. That's how they show how they feel, because they're not going to tell you that my heart is out here. Women don't do that. Women still kind of hide it, and they deal with it in different ways. But men, I'll be painting a guy and all their skin is gone and there's just the muscle. And I'm thinking, wow, maybe they're showing me how tough they are. They're in the soul sense, but they're like really men. And I kind of like painting men, because painting men is so different than painting women. And I would say, in comparison, maybe over the last 10 years, I painted 10 men. They're least likely to want a soul painting than women are.
Yeah.
That is fascinating. Okay, so before we get to Donna, I said one more question.
And then I have a question too. Okay.
Really half a question. So wait, how did you figure out that you were able to do this over the line? So originally you would just go to these people's homes, and then you had this guy from Paris call you, and then you figured out, hey, I can do this way?
Yes, so I realized because I also heal people on a very sacred level. So if somebody is ill, I can actually astral travel to them and help heal them. And so I realized that if I could do that on that level, I could also paint somebody who is far away. So whether Donna talked to me or not over the line, because we did it via a Zoom call or FaceTime call, She didn't have to talk, but she's a talker. She likes to talk. But it didn't affect the painting at all because there's still things in the painting that we never talked about. I didn't know about. Yeah, it doesn't matter. You could sit there and say nothing. And once that soul connects with me,
That
I
is
have
wild.
And the crazy thing about souls, I will tell you this, that the thing that I love is I have customers that purchased a soul painting from me like 2 years ago. And they'll say, I want a new painting. And they'll come and they'll sit with me. And I'll say, you have to go home. We can have a glass of wine if you want to, or a cup of coffee, but I'm not painting you today. And they'll say, why? And I said, because your painting hasn't changed. You've done nothing. Your painting has said that you need to do this, 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 and this. You've done nothing over the last 2 years. Your painting is exactly the same, unless you want me to paint the exact same painting.
Really?
Can't.
Wow.
Yeah. And then I have people, as I'm painting them, I'll paint them one day. The next day, the painting completely changes. And I'm like, stop. You can't do this to me. I've already painted that, and I don't want to unpaint it. So I take a picture of it, and then I have to repaint the whole section. And the painting is morphing because they are on a spiritual plane and they're growing. And if that happens, if you're constantly changing, the painting will change day by day. And it's fascinating and frustrating. For me, it's fascinating because it doesn't happen that often, but when it does, I'm like, wow, I like this person. Not that I like everybody else, but
right. That's amazing.
It's a nice sign that, you have a choice.
Yeah. I mean, it was pretty amazing. We spoke for the first time that we spoke, which we talked about, like the first time, we were on the phone for 3 hours. I remember the date. It was May 23rd. And the reason why I remember it was Yogi's birthday. Courtney had graduated from college, and I came home and I knew that the next day we were going to have her on the show, and I had to do the pre-interview. And I'll be really honest, I was in a really sad place. Yes, I know my daughter had graduated college, but being, a single mom, and I know we talked about it that night, but briefly, energetically, I was in a space where I knew I always get to experience the fun and the great, accomplishments, but then they live with me. So they always go off to dinner with the dad. They always go out it's just always been Christmas concerts. I get there, I get them dressed, and then they're going out to dinner. So it's this very like crescendo, decrescendo, right? So I came home. It was Yogi's birthday. He had just passed away not even a month ago. And the first conversation we had, she starts talking about this puppy and like her friend that was going through this situation with a puppy, and the puppy was going to not make, I had the chills all over my arm. Like
that was a good thing.
We had an amazing, we connected like immediately. I felt I had never met her. I was connected because of Ryan. We'd never spoken. And I got on the phone. We were on the phone for 3 hours.
Yeah,
and
I remember that.
I mean, it was just like, I feel some sort of way about this woman that I just love and respect her. And I feel like I'm just so grateful that I finally got to meet her. And then we were talking, and she's like, I'm going to paint your soul. And I'm like, whoa. And I did get nervous. I was like, wow, I got a lot of stuff. And I don't know if I'm ready to reveal this, and then talk about it on the show. And then it was kind of like that bathing suit thing. It's funny that that's what the first thing I brought up today, because it is. It's like being completely naked. And the question that I wanted to ask, and then I'm going to reveal the painting, is, could you paint someone's soul that you didn't speak to? Like, could you paint someone's soul if I said to you, well, it's a two-part question. If I wanted to get a soul painting for someone, but it was a gift, could you paint them without them knowing? And could you paint someone that passed away?
Yes. Well, that's a good question. I would love to paint my father who passed away. I think it would be neat. I don't see why I can't. I mean, I haven't tried, but it's something to definitely do. I know that I can heal people with just a photo of them. So that is kind of neat. And also for everybody out there who has pets, know that when your pet passes away, because I was actually with a pet that passed away. I can't really explain why I was there, but I was there. I was there because I wanted to support the pet as the pet was going into the back of the vet clinic, and the owner couldn't go with them. And as the pet passed away, pets, when they pass, it's such a beautiful experience. They pass as if they're sparkles. When they die, there's like sparkles that go up. And it's the most beautiful thing you've ever seen, that I've experienced in death. I've been around people who have died when they pass, but I was never in a meditative healing place. I was in the present, so I didn't see it. But going into meditation and actually being there and seeing it, I actually cried in the physical as I'm watching this pet who had passed. And it's literally like sparkles. And it's like their soul is sparkles, and it goes up, and it's so incredibly beautiful that you're like, wow. So when I told the owner that I was there, because the owner called me on her way to the emergency vet clinic saying, I think my pet's going to pass. And I said, I'm going to go under now, and I'm going to be with you. I want to be with you. I want to be with your pet. So I was through the whole journey. And when that happened and she called me and she said, my pet died, I said, I know. And so I explained to her what I had seen and how beautiful it was. And there was actually an angel that went with the pet. So it was so incredibly beautiful. And so for any pet owner that has lost their pet, know that they're really loved, and they are definitely guided when they go.
I want to mention something. When my daughter was 3, I was in the room next to her, and I heard her. She was laying on her bed, and she was supposed to be sleeping, but she was talking. And I walked into her room and I said, "What are you doing?" Right? Because she was just chatting away. And she said, "I'm talking to the angels, Mommy." And I said,
Yes.
"Oh, where are they?" She goes, "Up there."
And she was.
And I go, "What do they look like?" She goes, "Sparkles." And when you just said that, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, I remember that," because she said they're sparkles.
Yeah.
And I get, I guess it's all the same, right?
Yes.
I'm like so choked up over that, by the way.
I've experienced a lot of angels, and there's a lot of like this. It's like you can see them, but you can't see them, and it's like this iridescent feeling of, and then it's kind of
it's like an aura.
It's like, okay, so when you're sitting in your living room and the light is shining through the window and it's really pretty coming in, and then you smack a pillow on your sofa and the dust particles go up and you see all of these specks. It's like that. It's pretty and it's unexpected, and you kind of cock your head and you think, wow, that's really pretty. And that's kind of the feeling that you get of what I see a lot of times when angels are around. That's the kind of feeling that I get.
I feel it. I feel that feeling. Like
I did see angels that day, by the way.
Yeah. Oh no, absolutely. I knew that but she's always, she doesn't anymore as a teenager, but when she was young, she was
no, actually, and it's really strange because I'm writing a book right now called Don't Silence the Children. Yeah. Children see and know everything. Children are extremely spiritual. And so you have a choice as a parent to either embrace that.
Oh, I did.
Or tell them. My parents told me to stop talking about it. My parents told me that it wasn't acceptable. Right. And so I think at the age of 8, I stopped. Right. And it was the age of 28 that I reconnected. And I thought about how much time I had lost because I did that. Children know a lot. Children see a lot.
Yes, they say that the veil between the two is very thin when the children are young. That's why Donna's Mystic program in the morning, story time, is so important because the kids get it. I remember I was with my nephew who was, I think he was 5 at the time, and he was coloring, but he was doing like this crazy coloring. And I said to him, "Isaac, what are you doing? You're all over the page." He looked up at me with the most deadpan, and he goes, "I'm painting the souls of the dead." And then he just, I was like, "What did he just say? Is his head's going to spin around? Did he just say what I think he's?" And he was so serious about it, and he just went back to coloring. I was like, "All right."
And the crazy part about all of that right now is so many people, and one of the reasons I'm writing this book is because so many people are searching for what they feel like they've lost as a kid, right? They're searching for, what is my path? How do I get more spiritual? You were always that way. And somewhere along the lines, as you were growing up, it stopped. And it's really hard. So kids dream, and they dream big. They dream magical things, and adults don't. They're afraid to. And we need to find our inner child, and we need to open that box, and we need to run on the beach and do all the fun things that kids do. And if you don't do that, you're not going to be able to find that spiritual connection that you need to find.
Absolutely.
We lost you, Donna.
Yeah, we can.
I couldn't remember where the mute. If I did it, I was muting or unmuting. Oh my gosh, that's
Very
amazing.
complex.
All right, so are you ready to see the painting, you guys?
Woohoo! I'm so ready.
I'm so excited. So, with such great camera detail work, I just want to let you know that I'm going to see if this works here, and if not, then I'll move it. I'm going to switch you over to the top, Ungala.
Yes.
Gorgeous.
All right, so this is my painting.
Yes.
And I love her. Look at that eye.
I love her too.
I've always wanted some blue eyes, and I got 2 of them. So this is, I don't know if this is the best way.
That's good. That's
Okay.
a good start.
All right, that's a good part.
Well, the first thing I can tell you, so when I paint somebody's soul and I see a single eye, I'm very happy. Because what that means is, that means that you're looking out into the world, you're observing, but then you're bringing everything back in and you're processing what you see. Okay? A lot of times people with 2 eyes, they're looking out and they only look out. They're not processing. So I don't want to say they're judging, but their perception is reality. And we know that perception isn't reality. We know that we can see somebody and we're making the assumption, oh, that person did this or whatever, however we want to make the assumption, but that's not the case. And so when there is a single eye, I know that this is somebody that is truly looking at the world and processing everything that they see. So that to me, I think is really great. And I was thrilled when Donna had 1 eye. And everybody else is like, oh my God, you have 1 eye. It's a good thing. It's a really good thing.
Donna, did you hear that? 1 eye is a good thing.
1 eye is a good thing.
You haven't been off the mark. That's what I'm trying to say to you.
I see that.
1 eye is a really good thing. The next thing that I loved about Donna's piece is in her neck, you notice the triangle, right? And it's in the shape of the femme. So that's the femme. And so Donna's here and she wants to empower women is basically what that means. That symbol when it comes in means that she wants to make sure that women are on their path, that they're doing what they need to do. And it's all about the femme for her. The white around her eye says that when it comes to females doing self-care, going out and doing what they love, she only speaks the truth. That's what she wants for all women. And I love that about her. If you notice, and as it goes up to her mouth, that white line that goes up, it goes straight up and over. That means that she thinks the truth and she speaks the truth. So she's not gonna bullshit you on anything. She's going to tell you what she thinks, and as it's coming out of her mouth, in other words, she's thinking of everything that she does as the feminine in the whole, and that's where her truth comes, right? And I love it.
You could ask my therapist. It's true.
Yes, and I thought that was amazing as well. She doesn't have a nose and a mouth, and actually, that's also really a good thing. Sometimes it's, in other words, so before she speaks, everything gets thought through. So she just doesn't blurt things out, right? So she'll process before she tells you something, and processes it typically a lot. That's a good thing. So the next thing that I thought was really, really fascinating, she has 2 things in her painting that I've never painted for anybody else in the last 28 years, which I think is phenomenal. In the center of her heart, when I first painted her heart, it was just red. And as I finished the painting, you notice in the very center, a candle is lit. So she is lit. There's a lit candle. So it's a light within the light that's already shining within her heart. And this is the first time I've ever painted it. I'm not really 100% sure what the symbolism is, but I love it. I think it's almost like an eternal flame. I felt like it was
Right.
this eternal flame, which I loved. The flames around her heart says that, we know that she's alive, but she's really alive. And she's probably more alive. I know she's more alive than me. She's like dynamo. And there's just a lot of passion in her on so many levels. The little dots to the left there, and know that whenever I paint somebody's soul, it's a mirror image. So it's a reflection. So as she's looking at that painting, she's looking at a reflection of herself. Those little dots that are on the left-hand side, it was telling me that those are all the little things that bother her. She goes, I don't think little things bother me. And I said, yeah, well, I think they do, but you probably laugh them off.
Right.
That's how you deal with it, right? So there's like little things that bother her. But if you go up to the top of the painting, the more spiritual she becomes, this tube that's coming in, you see those little dots as they're coming into her consciousness. And the yellow that's coming in is like this healing light that's coming down. And it also wraps around her and heals her. But as those little dots now are starting to come in to this healing light tube, you notice as they're coming out, they're less intense. So now she's starting to process them so that they're not quite as intense as she once thought.
Wow.
They're not completely gone, but they're lighter, which I thought was really neat. The other thing that she has that a lot of other soul paintings I've never done is she has 3 areas of cosmos. So if I see the universe in your background, it means you're coming back for several more lifetimes. And the only reason that you would come back for several more lifetimes is if you are doing something here and now that you can help people the second lifetime, the third, the fourth. And she's lived past lives. But if I don't see any cosmos, it means you're not coming back. Typically, maybe it means that you need to rest. You'll rest in a tree or a pet or an animal until you're ready to come back. But I think Donna will come back immediately. Now, the 3, normally everybody has 1. There's 1, it shows 1. That's usually because they've already made a decision of where their life is going. Donna has 3 different paths. She can choose one. She has 3 different ones to choose from. She has to decide which one she wants to do. She hasn't made that determination yet, is my understanding. And so the one I think that she needs to do is, if you look at the blue tube coming down, Donna, can you point to that blue tube on the left-hand side? It's coming down. So that is your intuition. So her intuition is coming in. She's processing everything that she's thinking about. It's coming back out. And that intuition tube is coming into this cosmos, this future. I thought, as I was doing it, it was probably a children's book. So if you think about writing anything, any kind of book, any kind of children's book, if you're doing something where you pass and your legacy continues into the future, you continue to live into the future. But I have a feeling when Donna passes and she comes back as a little girl, she'll probably say, I wrote all these books. And her mom will be like, what? She goes, yeah, I wrote all these children's books. And she may remember her name. Her name will probably change. She may remember it. And there's a very, very good chance that her mom, if her mom is a mom that's into spirituality, will say, let's look into that. And Donna could probably find those books and tell her mom about the books before they even open up a page. So that would be great. But she also has 2 other ideas that I'm not sure exactly where she's going with them that are still options to her. So I'm not sure where she's going. That the decision's up to her. The reason that I thought that it was the book, so the strangest thing happened as I'm painting her. On the left-hand side of her painting. So she has all of these pinks on that left-hand side because she holds the child within her. She's that bubbly girl. She's that pink girl, very girly. But there was this green, I'm just going to, as I was painting it, I kept seeing Jack and the Beanstalk. It was really strange. I kept seeing it was a vine of some kind that was growing. And not only was it growing, but I could sense that it was going to sprout. It's not sprouting yet, but I kept thinking I kept waiting before I sent her the painting, to see one shoot, one sprout, one leaf. I think it's going to sprout, and it's going to sprout soon. It still hasn't sprouted, and it may be the first book, but it was very much like she had planted the seed. She's processing, but it hasn't sprouted. But it's there. It's still growing. It's growing up like Jack and the Beanstalk. It just hasn't gone out. So it's very much there. She is a child of the sun and of the day. So we have the clouds. I believe that her sun is this yellow beam of light that comes down. And it's trying to cover up anything bad that's coming into her body. I also found that she has this blue streak, this turquoise streak that's coming from her eye, which means that somewhere in her past, and it was something that I don't think she put much stock into, but as she has gotten older, it's eating at her. And I don't know what it is. It's something that she'll have to think about. But that single tear is something that happened to her, and she still needs to figure out what that is. She's carrying it with her. And whatever that is going to affect whether or not she's going to come back in that third life, that next life with that. It might be something that will come up 5 years from now, could come up next year, and she'll remember something, and she'll say, you know what, I want to go down that path. So she has 3 different paths that she can follow. Which
I have ADT.
That is phenomenal. And what is the brown or red?
So the brown is just like her hair, and it has all these layers. The thing that I find interesting is over on the right hand side, next to her ear, it's almost as if there's a shell there. I got the feeling that it was a shell. You know, when you listen to a shell, so she has the intuition coming out, but she has this shell, and it's vibrating back. So it's like she's hearing what it's saying, and she's trying to process it back into her body. The only thing that Donna and I could not figure out, and typically what this means, it's whenever I see a red line that's coming out separate, it's a bloodline. So it's the last time I painted a bloodline, it showed me the person that I was painting had a twin that I didn't realize he had a twin, and they were connected by this bloodline. So I asked her, I said, why this bloodline? What's coming in? Is it something medical? Because if you notice, the bloodline will come down and then it splits in 2 on the bottom. And I'm not really 100% sure what that means.
Would that be her daughters?
It very well could be. Her bloodline with her 2 daughters, it very well could be, yes.
Mm-hmm. That's fascinating.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
The painting was a lot of fun to paint. There were a lot of aha moments for me. The three cosmos, those 3 universes, I thought just blew my mind. But I love it. And
I love it.
I love it too. The colors are fabulous.
It will start to tell her stories.
Now,
So-
Donna, what was your feeling when you got it? Like when you opened it up, were you like, what? What was your reaction to it?
Well, first of all, it's like overwhelming because it's like, whoa. I mean, I had a lot of questions, and I spoke to Ungala briefly, but like I have questions about, because I've seen some of her other work, and I'm just like, this is amazing. And how, like, it's just, I don't know, like, do I have past lives?
Yeah, you do.
So like, that's pretty cool. Like, I just didn't know how new of a soul I was, or like, even if that, I don't even know if that mattered. I do feel like she hit it dead spot on with the things where like I can let a lot of things roll off my back, like, but like I have a bad habit of collecting the little things, like, you know, something amazing could happen, and then I'll get a spot on my shirt and I'll be like, oh man, and I'll hyper focus on that, or like
those are all the little things.
Totally, like I totally got that. Like I like to have things, you know, perfect. I definitely have a thing with that, you know, work. And it's funny because I'm in a business where I've been forced to speak to women and be honest, like, you know, just about their hair color or their haircut, but it starts with that. But then it goes to it's like I'm in a business where people divulge a lot of things to me, like with Kim, with being a life coach and and therapy, and it's basically I have a lot of stuff stored in my mind, and some of the things I get asked, by people, what's your opinion, and I have to really think about, do I really want to share my honest opinion? And if I can't, I won't. You'll never, like, for this, I'm going up here. One thing I will tell you is I'm very protective of children when it comes to being in my business, and I hear a lot, unfortunately, of women that and it's mostly women that will say things that blow my mind, and then they'll say to me, well, how do you have a close relationship with your kids? And I think to myself, because I would never say to my kids what you say to yours. And I think I'm very protective, and which is why I found the joy with story time, and why I do want to write a children's book. I don't know what the whole thing means as far as like where I'm going next. And I think it's interesting because I am definitely a person that wants to do 25 things at once.
Everything. You can only do 3.
I know. I want to do everything. I do love the intuition part. I do. I think it's really interesting about the medical thing, because I am going, I without getting too personal, I went for tests today. And that's pretty interesting because you didn't know that. So the candle's
lovely.
Yeah, the candle's beautiful. And I know that you said to me that was the last thing that you painted into it. And it was
the very last thing before I signed my name.
And the funny thing
showed up right before I signed my name.
The funny thing is one of our last conversations that you and I had was you were telling me about like writing and journaling, and you're trying to really encourage me to journal more. And I know I got Tracy into it too, like the new moon journaling. We lit the candles, and I mean, I think I don't know. I don't think there's anything that's a coincidence.
I'm a pro at manifesting, and if you can imagine, over the last 30 years, I journal every day, and I have every single journal.
Wow.
Yes. And I told my daughter, I said, you're going to inherit these. You're going to open them up and say, in the very beginning, you're going to say, what is the psychobabble my mom is writing about? It makes no sense. Because it's hard in the beginning. It's really hard. I was sitting there writing, car just drove by. Now, if you read my journals, they're intense. I mean, the longer you do it, the more you start pulling things out of the universe. And I love going back and reading my stuff, and I'm like, oh, I remember this. This is really good. So,
yeah. Anybody else have a question about anything specific on there before I?
I do.
So, go ahead. Can you go first?
I'll be real quick. Just a couple things. The first is the 3 different paths. Is she going to follow them in her next life? Are there 3 different lives that she can choose? Or are she part of this life? Okay. I was confused.
So she has an option to either choose one of them or do all of them. That's why I said it was so interesting.
Okay.
So let's just, for example, let's say she writes a book, and the book is really popular, and the book then continues on into the future. Well, let's say she also story time. Let's say story time gets picked up. That's something completely different. Well, let's say
Open-minded mystics.
Maybe, I don't know. But let's say that series gets picked up. She's already passed. So those are 2 things that she's in that's carrying on into the future, right? Okay. It's saying that there's 3 different things that could possibly happen. So she can choose, I just want to write a book, and I'm not going to, I think in the past, if you wrote a book, then that carried on, and you might be a writer in your next life. But now there's so many options. So
I think it's so funny that you say that, because do you remember? I can't remember if it was a meeting or if it was the show, Kim and Tracy, when we said the most amazing realization is no matter what we're doing right now, whether we become famous, we become whatever, we are now like YouTube is so different. Like our ancestors, let's just say, right? And I'm gonna I want to make us all a little bit like bigger here. But our ancestors, the women that came before us, the men that came before us, the script writers, the scrollers, if you were lucky enough and blessed enough to be in that closed group around a fire or whatever it was, you continue the story. But we discuss this, like, no matter what, unless YouTube is completely taken down from the world, we have a year's worth of content where your grandchildren, your relatives, a stranger is going to could stumble upon it, and something that we say can impact some. I mean, that is really powerful. I think that's really powerful. Like using the people that we have in the audience today for an example, like Kathy and Shari and friends that are watching. I get to speak to Kathy in the salon every, 5-6 weeks when I do her hair. We have an intense conversation, but it's private. And unless she goes and she tells somebody or I go tell somebody, but what we do is so public. And I think that it's such a powerful tool that we have as women and as spiritual beings and as open-minded mystics think about it, Ungala, like how we met. And like, this is like, we're having this ongoing, like growing relationship. I just think it's magical. This is magic. It's
not an accident.
It's not an accident. This is the Harry Potter of, what we're doing.
Yes. And I tell people that all the time, and they think it's strange, but everything happens for a reason.
Absolutely.
There's actually somebody on the show today that told me that something that happened kind of as a quirk was fate. And I'm like, wow, you think so? I don't know about that. But it's true. It really is. I think we all kind of come around. Everybody's meant to come into your life for a reason, whether it's for 5 minutes, whether it's just to smile at them or let them know that they should have a good day, or it's a friendship like us four. Like, I want to get to know everybody a little bit more.
Yeah, absolutely. I know we will.
Yeah, we definitely will. And thank you so much for taking the time to like share your gift. I have one more question regarding this. Since you painted so many souls, Ungala, is it like, is there a universal message that you get from these souls? Like, is there anything that keeps coming up and up and up that you're like, the world really needs to know this? Or is every message very different?
Every message is so unique, so unique. The one thing I can tell you, though, that I was kind of in a panic. I think I was really taken aback is when COVID hit and we were all shut in, right? I thought, no problem. I was going to shut myself in my studio for 2-3 months. I was working on 5 soul paintings.
Oh, yeah.
None of them would talk to me. None of them. They all stopped talking. And I was panicking. I was thinking, wait, what? Because sometimes I will hear them in the middle of the night and somebody will, and I'll get up. I'm like, fine, I'm painting. I'll just do whatever until the next day. And they all stop talking. I've even had souls that won't talk to me for a very long time because it could take up to 3 months depending on the soul. Donna was pretty chatty. Not chatty enough. I would have loved to have finished it sooner, but she was chatty. But I will have a soul that won't talk for a month, and then another soul will come in, and then they become chatty. And I'm thinking, did these two people meet? I don't know. Really strange, because they're about the same age. I probably should introduce them, but I don't know. I haven't gone to that level. Matchmaking via souls.
I was going to say, that's what you need to do next, the dating game.
But it just goes to show you, human nature, the soul, when you lock somebody up, even if they could have gone out into the sidewalk, they could have probably still walked. They're not going to get arrested. But as soon as you tell somebody that their soul that they can't, it shuts down.
Huh.
So I found that was probably the most fascinating. I know a lot about souls over the years. I could write a book about souls. I think I understand souls probably better than anybody. But that fascinated me. That shocked me. And so I started painting my own soul. I'm like, I'm bored.
That's so fun. I would be fascinated if you went and did something with incarcerated people and wonder what it would look like.
Oh, I wonder. Yeah.
Not for the crime value, but like
no, for the soul,
just to see what the difference would be where the soul that's locked up and incarcerated, and then if you like a blind whatever, you could speak to them on the phone, you couldn't see what they look like physically, and maybe one or two people, and then you get to see like re-meet them when they're released and see the difference. I would love that.
Actually, I would love to try a lot of those different things if people have ideas, because I think they'd be really good. Yeah, I'd be curious. I would be curious.
That would be a fascinating experiment.
Incarcerated.
Because and look at Sherry Freed said that's how I felt when I met Tracy. I knew you connected, and then met you, Donna. And it's true. There's certain people that you meet that you like. It's a catalyst. It's like it's like the sticky glue, two parts put together. And then there's two people that need sometimes like the opposite sides of the magnets. Yeah. Kim, do you have anything you want to say or ask?
There's so much. I just really have loved this. I just have one little question for Space. I could keep talking to you, and we're over time. But here's my question: how do you know when you're done?
It tells me. It tells me I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
Well, in Donna's case, it said I'm done, and I went to go sign it, and then this candle lit in her heart. I was like, "Well, okay, wait a minute."
that sounds like me.
It was really great. Yeah, so it was like a last minute thing that it popped up. I don't know what happened at that moment. We actually talked about the date when I finished it to see what happened to you on that particular moment, that particular day.
Is it like the end of a book, like a really good book? It's got to be like that, because I know when I come to an end of a really good book, I'm getting like, I don't want you to end. Is that what it feels like when you're done, or does it feel like it's?
For me, it's kind of a relief because it depends on the painting. So if the painting is so intense, I have paintings where I'll just burst out in tears, and I don't know why. I'm thinking, why am I feeling this? Because the soul is telling me something so traumatic. And so some are really easy. Some paintings look really silly. Like I had this one painting where the girl had a single wing coming out of her neck. And when we met, she goes, "That's really strange." And I said, "Yeah, I know." I said, "But what it's telling me is that you've always had this longing to travel and fly. And what happens to a bird with one wing? They fly in a circle and they always end up where they are." So not only was she born in this certain town, she's never left this certain town.
Wow.
Her soul is saying, "Get out of this town. This is what you want. I need to go." And when I saw her last time, she's still in this town, and she still only has one wing. And I want her to go somewhere. I want to see both wings, or the wings are gone, which means she's on her journey. So, even something that looks silly, it's telling you, this is what I want. I want to fly. Do something.
So cool.
That's amazing. Question. Do you keep a sketch pad by your bed?
No.
Interesting.
No, I actually get up and paint.
She's like,
wow. Whenever the message hits you, you get up and paint.
If they're yelling, I get up and paint.
Wow. Do you usually have a time where you paint, or no, it's whenever?
Whenever.
Usually. Okay.
Yeah. So I just finished 2 new soul paintings this last week that are going out. Actually, one went out in the mail, and I have another one that I'm working on that I'm hoping to get done. I'm kind of on the second month. It's slow going, but there's some really cool things. I think his spirit guide is showing up in this painting, which is neat.
That's awesome.
So I can't wait to say, "This is your spirit guide."
I love that.
It's really unusual. Guys are different. And then I just got commissioned to do a 6 foot by 6 foot soul painting.
Whoa, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
So I'm really excited about that. And I have a celebrity coming up that I'm going to be.
Ooh, how good for you. I'm so excited for you. We're so excited for you. It is an hour and 4 or 5 minutes right now. I definitely know that we would love to have you back. Yes, ladies?
I'd love to come back.
Absolutely.
We'll see about if we can work something out to get these 2 ladies painted.
Oh, I love that.
That'd be amazing. And thank you again for sharing your gift. It is such an amazing thing. I've never heard of anything like it. Oh, Donna's got the cards out.
Well, because look at her. She's so excited.
This time. Oh, that's right. We're doing all of us.
Yeah, we are. We're doing all of us. No, it's so true. It's so exciting. It's so exciting. And for everyone watching, thank you so much for watching. We're so excited. Please don't forget to check out Ungala Grace. You can go over to YouTube. Instagram. Just go to Ungala Grace. I had her name up before. Let's see. I'll do it again. But I did have it up for you guys in the comments. If you go to Ungala Grace by her name, first and last, go over to Instagram. You'll see all of her beautiful artwork. And don't forget to check out Kim Mazzella, mindset coach and light docent, Tracy Locke. And you can also go over and see Aunt Sheila Says. Exciting. And I'll be on tomorrow morning for Storytime with Donna V. And Carol, what's up, Carol? So excited. She said, great show.
Yeah.
If you are identifying with, shall we go with Ungala first since she is our guest?
Absolutely.
If you are identifying with Ungala's energy this evening and you'd like to, here's the cards. You tell me when to stop shuffling.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Top card. Here we go. Ideas and inspiration.
That's pretty cool.
Right.
That's a great one for you.
Yeah, good one for you.
And self-acceptance.
Don't we all need that card?
Yep.
I love that.
I love it. Thank you.
You're welcome. Tracy Locke. I think I'm feeling drawn to your energy right now, Miss Lady in Red.
Go. Here we go. And go ahead. Right
Stop.
there. Yep.
Okay, well, he said, go ahead. She goes,
Go ahead,
girl. We've got meditation, which is the one that flew out at me before.
All right.
And enchantment.
Wow.
You have a little fun in your life
It's
maybe right
A
now.
mystical
Yes,
day
I
for
did.
you.
It's a very mystical day. Kim Mazzella. The lovely and talented Kim.
Okay, I got my question. And stop.
That's a little evil laugh.
Playfulness. I felt a little giggling
Okay.
coming out.
Okay.
And emerging.
Okay.
Ooh,
Okay.
she's growing out of her home, ladies and gentlemen.
I am.
I know you
Exciting.
are. All right, let's see. Anyone that's identifying over here with this soul painting and I, you saw what my soul looks like. Let's see what my cards look like. All right, here we go. Miracles. There's that candle, it looks like.
There's
Yes,
the
it
awesome.
does.
Absolutely.
And balance, which is what I need.
Yeah, I'm gonna borrow your balance too.
Well, I don't know how much balance I have, but you can have a cup of it, okay?
Thank you.
Ladies, this has been such an amazing evening. I'm
Awesome.
so grateful for this show because it is this show that brought us to you, Ungala, and I am just so grateful for knowing you and having you as a friend. Thank you so much for this beautiful painting. Ladies, you want to say anything? You go for it. I'm going to shush.
Yes, wow. Thank you again for sharing this. This is such an incredible thing. And I'm so glad that we have somewhere to get in touch with them. People, ladies and gentlemen, you've got to get a hold of her if you want to get your soul painted. What a cool, amazing, incredible thing. And I knew it was going to be awesome, but it's even more awesome than I thought it was going to be. So thank you.
You're welcome.
And I just want to say thank you too. I really was looking forward to tonight because we really need, I couldn't wait to hear what you had to say about her soul painting. And it was so much more interesting than what I even had in my mind because I kind of came up with what I thought it meant. It's so cool. I love the work that you do. You're such a blessing to the world. And thank you for coming on our show.
Thank you guys so much. I appreciate it.
I'm so excited. Yeah. Thank you from the bottom of my heart and the bottom of my soul. And I bought a gold frame because I figured that's what it needs because it's such a treasure and I will always treasure it. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And we will see you next week, everyone, for Open-Minded Mystics. And we will have a big announcement next week, so you're not going to want to miss it. Tune in at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And thank you so much for being here, and we'll see you next Monday night.